Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. So we have just seen the GS paper 1 of UPSC Civil Services Mains Examination 2025, and we are going to have a brief overview of what all questions have appeared in today's examination and from what all sections primarily they have appeared in today's examination and the difficulty levels, right? And I am going to focus on Indian society part of GS paper 1, and this year again they have continued the trend of asking 6 questions from Indian society part, right, which cumulatively amounts for almost for 75 marks, right. First question is, how does smart city in India address the issues of urban poverty and distributive justice? So they have been asking questions from the urbanization section and smart city. Now they have repeatedly asked such kind of questions for addressing the urban poverty and distributive justice in the urban areas. How a smart city is going to help in these issues was the major theme, and we know that there are elements in the smart city mission which addresses about digital inclusivity, the public spaces and other areas for poor people or not so affluent people, which cumulatively addresses the issue of urban poverty, right? Second question was the ethos of civil service in India. That was a pretty simple question, or what we can say is easy. Right. Next one is the ethos of civil service in India stand for the combination of professionalism with nationalistic consciousness. Now, many of you would be surprised to see this question in GS paper 1, right? Most of you would have expected this question in GS paper 2 or in ethics paper or in essay, right? Or some optionals would have also reflected that question. Now, once you try to analyze the syllabus of GS paper 1 Indian society section, you would be easily able to relate it to the 3 themes. That is secularism, communalism, and regionalism. Right? Because the civil services stands for unity and integrity. Right? Now, once you have interpreted the question in this way, then you would have possibly answered it well. And for those people, those who were able to do that, congratulations. And that was a pretty difficult question to interpret, but the answer was simple. Right? Next. Do you think that globalization results only in aggressive consumer culture? Justify your answer. Now, globalization, the trend says that there will be a question on urbanization and globalization every year. At least one question will be there. This year again they have asked a question about globalization and results only in aggressive consumer culture. We cannot say so. Globalization has also helped us understand various other elements from different societies, which not only about the consumer culture, but also how to get the ideas, how to implement the modifications or improvements in laws and justice, how to raise the voices. Globalization does not only stand for consumer culture, it stands for many other things also in present times, right? We have also influenced other societies through the what we say International Yoga Day, or there are other elements when we talk about the yoga and what we call that, organic foods, right? So there are many elements that we are seeing. So that was the whole idea of the question, that we are not supposed to justify that globalization has resulted in consumer culture, but it has also advanced the other ideas also, right? Next. How do you account for the growing fast food industries, given that they have increased the health concerns in modern society? Illustrate your answer with the Indian experience. Now, after a brief pause, they have again asked a question related to health in GS paper 1. Now, why have they asked this question is because we have been seeing trends about the heart attacks, obesity, and other related issues which we can relate to the sedentary lifestyle or lack of physical activities and other things. How the growing fast food industry related to e-commerce, related to fast-paced life in urban societies. And we can give examples also from Delhi, Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai, and other cosmopolitan cities. Now, that was a pretty simple question, and you could have easily related it to the diet culture of the modern generation, where we are focused there in half a part of the society is that which focuses more on nutritional food, and the other part focuses on just filling their tummies. So these two things can also be related to this question, and that was pretty simple to address, right? Next. Achieving sustainable growth with emphasis on environmental protection could come into conflict with poor people's needs. Now, the question falls in two different categories. One is the human geography part, and the other one is Indian society part. Let us try to relate it to the Indian society part. We are talking about sustainable and equitable development. And we have also discussed in our MGP classes that particular topic, right? So environmental protection could come into conflict with poor people's needs, and they are asking about comment that addressing the environmental concerns does not mean that you somehow try to take steps which amount adversarial for the poor people. That should not be there. Rather, we should have a sustainable model of development in urban as well as in other areas where poor people are not neglected and their needs and requirements are also taken care of, right? We have discussed this question in this topic elaborately in our MGP classes, right? Next. Does the tribal development in India center around two axes, those of displacement and of rehabilitation? Give your opinion. Now, they have been asking at least one question about tribal welfare every year for past few years. Now, this particular question talks about two things, displacement and rehabilitation. These are related, but tribal development does not depend only on displacement and rehabilitation, right? We talk about assimilation, we talk about giving them the basic or primary health facilities, primary education, giving them a way to get included in the urban centers through their products, through their culture, through their culinary activities and other things, right? So we have discussed this question in our MIGP mains test series also, that tribal development, the concern for the government for tribal development does not only include about rehabilitation and displacement because of the developmental projects in those areas, but it also includes the techniques, the schemes for their assimilation in the mainstream society, right? So that was also a very simple question, and you have enough content to write in this answer. Overall, what I can say is there was just one question that was difficult to interpret, the civil services part. Rest all other questions have been in news, were from the syllabus itself, and what we can say is that they have not asked any of the standard or static foundational questions. Rather, they have asked this year, all the questions were in analytical perspective. And newspapers and current affairs had been very helpful for those students who have been reading newspapers for past years. The simple strategy for the mains next year or for the upcoming examinations would be just one simple one, is to keep an eye on the newspapers, right? And try to relate the foundational aspects with the contemporary happenings and develop an analytical perspective, right? So detailed analysis will be given in a day or two. And for those of you who have been practicing their mains answer writing for next year, I would suggest you to just have a clock, sit with yourself and try to answer this year's question paper. That is going to help you in developing your answering capabilities for the next year, and wish you luck. And for those of you who have appeared this year, and wish you luck for the remaining exams, and thank you.